Viewpoint from Overseas. I'm your host Faraz Darvesh. We have several different topics on the agenda. The topic number one will be the DNI report, which is being discussed as we speak. Topic number two will be the missing social activists in Pakistan, and there's been lots of resentment among the social activist community and human rights community all over Pakistan, and we'll discuss what is really the agenda behind abducting these individuals. Topic number three, the morale of Indian Army. I've seen several social media videos about Indian soldiers complaining about the treatment they're getting in service. The last topic will be the Pakistan's second strike capability, whether Pakistan has the second strike capability or not. What is the second strike capability? We'll have, we'll go detail on that topic. So I have with me Riaz Haq Sahab and then Dr. Misbah Azam Sahab. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining. Riaz Haq, let me start with you. What is this whole DNI thing, and tell us where is it leading?
So the Director of National Intelligence, General Clapper, James Clapper, presented President-elect Donald Trump a report on what they have found in terms of Russian hacking. That has been out there for some time, but the new piece of data that has emerged in the last week is that along with that briefing about Russian hacking and the Russian use of disinformation, there was also a revelation, there's the information that is unconfirmed that they also shared with President-elect Trump, that the Russians had been collecting some information and video about the activities of Mr. Trump that could be used to compromise him. Sort of information that could be used by them later on to blackmail Mr. Trump. So that was a big new revelation.
Right. So where do you think this is leading?
Well, as it is, the way I see it, I mean, I am just, when I read about the Watergate scandal, I am just kind of thinking similar thing happened.
Whether it will go in that direction or not.
Well, it is too early. Yesterday, Paul Ryan, while he was talking in the CNN's town hall meeting, he kind of denied it, and he kind of said that no, it is not right and things like that, although the moderator tried to ask the question on that. However, first of all, they all denied entirely that nothing such that happened, but then what happens that General Clapper's statement came out that he talked to President-elect Trump, and that statement kind of revealed that what CNN reported or what BuzzFeed has even gave the whole report, everything, although they say that we don't have any kind of evidence on that.
Right.
So going to your question where it will lead, I mean, if more things will come, and I'm sure that BuzzFeed say that they sent their investigative journalists to Europe and other part of Russia to just find out more about it. And if more things come, it would cause a trouble for Mr. Trump.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of great concern. One of the things that's happening is not only did Mr. Trump deny that this information in this report from BuzzFeed was accurate. He said it's not accurate, it's not true, none of this happened, this is bogus. But at the same time, he accused the intelligence agencies of revealing, of letting this information out, which was, General Clapper was very upset. He actually called Donald Trump the following day, and he said, Mr. President-elect, we did not leak this information out. We're not the source of what you're seeing in the media. It came from some other source.
We are just fulfilling our duty.
Yeah,
that's what exactly he said.
But one of the problems is that Mr. Trump has been essentially maligning his own intelligence agency, the agency that he's going to have work for him. And that is not a good start. The other thing that's happening is that as they're having hearings about the confirmation hearings for his nominees in the Senate right now, one of the things that we're finding out is that the people that he's nominated disagree with him on fundamental policy issues.
That's true.
You know, for example, this, you know, President Trump, elect Trump never says anything negative about Russia, whereas all these nominees are staunchly anti-Russian. They're essentially following the age-old, you know, the widely held American belief that Russia is a problem. Russia is an enemy for the United States, which Mr. Trump refuses to acknowledge.
Right.
So it's going to be an interesting dynamic how it goes from here.
Right.
Now, some people are accusing, you know, the what they call the deep state of trying to create problems for President-elect Trump even before he takes office. This guy Greenwald, Glenn Greenwald, he actually writes a lot about these issues. He's actually has been saying that that the deep state here is deliberately trying to create problems for Mr. Trump, and they will not allow him to govern. You know, in fact, there is a deep state in every country in a way, kind of what we call establishment. What they do is they don't allow any radical departures in policy. What they do is they make sure that whoever comes in as an elected leader generally follows that basic policy that has been in place.
The basic doctrine
for a long time.
And just one more comment, that it is not only on this report. I mean, his nominees for the different positions are differing him, what he said also, and that is also another trouble. This Elaine Comrade, she's a director for a Brookings Institute. And she is saying that first time they see these kind of things are happening in everything. Iran issue, you talk about torture issue.
Right, okay.
However, torture issue is a little tricky here. Let me finish by saying one sentence, that the CIA nominated directors say that they will refuse if president will ask them to do anything outside from the military field manual.
Right.
However, he did not talk about the renditions. I mean,
Right.
so that is the thing we have to keep in mind, that
Let's
that is also another
shift gear,
thing.
Riazak. I want to hear from you about these missing social activists in Pakistan. What is going on? I mean, who is abducting them, and do you think they will be recovered, or will they be killed, or where do you see?
Yeah, so I think I read a piece that I found very persuasive, very interesting, by Ejaz Haider, who's a well-known analyst and an anchor in Pakistan. He used to be, and I think still is, a director.
And he served in the military as well.
Yeah, so he has close ties with the military as well. And what he has written in Newsweek Pakistan is that the kind of criticism that people are saying these people are accused of, you know, like saying that the military is responsible for, you know, some of the sectarian elements that are being supported. They're not picking them up. Military is also accused of missing persons
In Balochistan.
So there's a number of these issues that it's not just these people who raise these issues, others have been raising them too. But so why is it that only this group, these 4 or 5 or 6 individuals that are missing, are being picked up? So it means that they went beyond this normal criticism. So what I did was I did a little bit of research on these people, and it turns out that they were actually far exceeding normal bounds of criticism. They go crossing several lines. One of the lines that, for example, they were crossing is the fact that they were basically saying things like religion makes people dumb, which is a very offensive thing in a country, in a deeply conservative country, where 92% of the population, according to Pew, believes that their religion is very important to them.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think
you can't be saying such thing in Pakistan.
Yeah. So I mean, they're running these sites, like one of the sites they were running, Facebook page was Hansa. They also had a Twitter, you know, page
But
associated with it.
let me ask you. But is this the way to, you know, abduct them? Why don't we run a fair trial on them?
Yeah. So I think that's an issue. That's an important one. The problem that I see is, you know, we know, for example, from the recent election debacle in the United States, that information is very powerful. And especially if somebody engages in a deliberate campaign of whether it's information or disinformation through social media, it is very, very hard to counter it. You know, we saw the damage. A lot of people believe that they did a lot of damage to Hillary Clinton's campaign. And the Pakistanis are having trouble figuring out how to deal with the social media thing. The normal laws actually are not very effective.
I don't think we have
dealing with
any
it.
defamation laws.
I mean, we have laws about
very
cybercrime,
weak,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff, but
You
it's very
can,
difficult
you can
to
find,
apply.
you know, if he's speaking against Pakistani military, you can accuse him for, you know, for treason or any other, under any other law.
Yeah,
right?
and you know what would happen, the judges will just let him go. So,
Yeah, well, I mean,
so
at least
the normal means,
he will get the warning though, right?
I think they're getting a warning anyway, without going to court.
No, it
So-
is the right way to
So
give a
I
warning.
agree that actually this has brought more attention to them than they deserve. I mean, I didn't know about these guys before
Yeah.
this happened, I didn't even care what they thought. And now I know about what they were doing, and a lot of
No, but
other
at the
people.
same time,
They're now getting support from a lot of other groups.
Oh, I understand,
because of
but
it,
the
because of it.
Pakistani military, although it hasn't been proven that Pakistani military is involved or Pakistani deep state is involved in kidnapping these social activists, however, they are being internationally criticized over this.
Yeah, I think most
All the
people,
direction, all the fingers are pointing
most
towards
people
deep state.
who are aware of how things work in Pakistan have a consensus that this is
Deep state.
This is what's called a deep state, and
Right.
that deep state doesn't quite know how to manage information, how to deal with information. I mean, one of the ways would be, you know, a more effective way, I think, would be to discredit them in the media. I mean, the answer to speech is speech. You know, if you say things that are not right, that
Because, see,
so you just respond to them with more information.
exactly.
And you set up more sites,
Because-
you have more people signed up to try and respond to that kind of information by counter. But
Because
essentially
once-
discredit the people instead of pick them
Right,
up and
because
make them disappear.
this, I mean, kidnapping them is basically tarnishing Pakistan deep
Oh,
state
yeah, I agree, I agree.
internationally.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't
Certainly
help.
does not help.
Yeah,
right?
just,
And then the people, the Indian side of the media kind of uses it that anybody who speaks against Pakistan deep state ends up like Salman Haider or,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but these people have very little support in Pakistan.
Right, but I'm saying now that
So I think-
there are
I
articles
think-
being published.
You know, I mean, if you
international
care
media.
about the world, yes, you know, it's a problem, but
Right.
within Pakistan, it's not such a problem because most people don't
Right,
agree
right.
with these people.
yeah, see, just simple answer which was given by Nazia Ayubi in his book, Overstating the Arab States, 1996, this book came. He defined strong state and hard state. He says strong states are flexible and they just argue on things and all. However, the hard states are less flexible,
Right, right,
oppressive, and they are scared.
just
Let's take a small
Yeah.
break and some
Right, yeah.
Razak, in the end, I mean, I personally think there are lots of people in Pakistan who openly criticize Pakistani military, but they don't end up like Salman
Right.
Haider. I mean, there are plenty of folks who come
Even
on the
Ijaz
social
Haider
media,
himself is
they
very
criticize
critical. Yeah.
the military policies on Balochistan to Kashmir to, you know, having these
Oh, yeah.
non-state actors roaming around
social
in
media,
Pakistan.
I
They
mean,
do that, right?
We know Gibran
Gibran
does that.
but
Lots of
Gibran
people
doesn't,
do that.
doesn't, you know, go to
Right,
the
right.
extent of, see, the problem with it is that, you know, if you want to promote a more inclusive, more tolerant Pakistan, obviously, you know, you don't want to attack people who are religious. I mean,
Right.
it's just like the other way. I mean, you have on the one hand, you have groups that are that are fanatic religious people who want to attack all of the secular and liberals. Then you have the liberals like these guys
Right, right,
who actually attack religion itself.
Right.
So that does not promote inclusion and tolerance. It basically, you know, divides people.
Right,
It's the lack of tolerance.
Right.
So that is not a good idea if you really, your purpose is to try to create a more harmonious
Right.
society where everybody
Right.
has space in it.
Right. Ms. Bell, you have something to say?
No, I don't have.
Okay, let me move to the other topic, Pakistan's capability of second strike. First, tell us, Razak, what it is or whether Pakistan is capable of second strike. Although, I mean, I personally think that war is not a solution. India, Pakistan, they both should find a peace solution and then live in a peace and harmony because they're neighbors. But having said all of this, we have an intense situation between these two countries over Kashmir and over many other issues. Could there ever be a war situation? If so, what is Pakistan's second strike capability?
Yeah, so I think the purpose of second strike usually is deterrence, and that's why other countries have developed. What it does is, if all of your nuclear assets are land-based, and there is a massive strike from the enemy on those land-based resources and destroy all the land-based resources, then you have no way to retaliate. So the enemy is tempted to try this. That let's do one big massive strike, destroy all of Pakistan's nuclear assets that are sitting on land. What the ability to carry nuclear weapons in submarines, on submarines does, which is what Pakistan has just tested with the Babar 3 cruise missile that they can fire from a submarine, is that it is a deterrent that even if you destroy all of the land-based nuclear capability of Pakistan, there is a chance that they could actually attack you back using their submarine fleet.
Mr. What do you have to say? I mean, I personally, when we talk about this nuclear war and all that stuff, I mean, I personally feel really sad and I personally feel offended, but it is a reality. It is a reality.
Well,
I hope we can find a peaceful solution between both countries.
First of all, nuclear capability is a deterrence. I mean, it is not.
Yeah, but why even create those? But anyhow, let's move forward.
Well, I mean, if I create, you will create. If we are.
Right. I'm not blaming Pakistan or India. I'm just saying overall, we should never
Yeah.
even have these type of bombs.
Yeah, let's not go to the idealistic thinking.
Okay.
That is the way world works. I mean,
Okay.
you can see the Europe, you can see Americas, everybody does that. Who else has a capability, they will do that for their
Right,
defense.
let's get to the...
But Pakistan with this Babar 3 experiment, Pakistan got the quote unquote the strategic depth, what they were looking for a long time. As Riyaz say that it gives them the second strike capability. Think about it, that if anything, their core doctrine was a success, I'm giving you a scenario, then what Pakistan would do, So this is one of the, one is the tactical nuclear bombs, and second thing is the submarine.
And it is a
bombs.
message to the both countries that, war is not a solution, basically.
That is
Both
true.
are creating deterrence.
That's true, as
Yeah.
long as there is a balance in power, there will be no war. If there is no balance in power, there is a war, and it could be a disastrous. 1990, when situation in early 90s, when situation was very bad, that time Pakistan did not test the nuclear bomb, neither did India that time. I'm talking about early 90, not 98.
Right.
That time, the US officials told India that Pakistan may have a capability to do that, and that's why things resolved. Because this is the deterrence, as I say that, it is not made to hit on India. India may be, in coming days, India would be our ally, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be
It
it.
is
I just
possible.
didn't
Why not?
would you agree
Why
with
not?
that? India could be an ally? Hopefully not.
Yeah, I
lifetime.
think that's probably not likely in the near future, but hope springs eternal,
Never
maybe
say
someday.
never.
But one of the things that it does is this capability, it does raise the risk a little more. Because what happens is if you have a submarine carrying nuclear missiles, you have to give the commander of that submarine the authority under certain circumstances to fire that missile. It's not controlled by someone on land. Let's say if all the land missiles are destroyed and there is no, your command and control on land is destroyed, then the control passes to the submarine commander who can fire these missiles. And for this capacity to be effective, you don't have a single submarine with a nuclear missile. You have to have multiples of these for credible deterrence. So it does increase the risk of nuclear war. But hopefully it works more as a deterrent than having.
What if you have a crazy commander?
Yeah, so that is a very a nightmare scenario. That in fact there's a movie that I saw on that one of the U.S. Commanders, but it was the other way around. That he was being ordered to attack, and he was refusing to do so.
Yeah, here's something I want to say on this, your comment about crazy commander. India, Pakistan has not that situation. And I'm not saying they don't have crazy commanders. I mean, they may have crazy commanders. but their nuclear arsenals are not fully intact working order. They are always dismantled. And even with the land one, suppose, let's not talk about the submarine for the timing. Suppose there is a war situation, these nuclear missiles will be taken to the different places. And then the general over there will be fully responsible when to fire. So I don't
What about the
see.
submarine? The commander on the submarine could go crazy.
No, it is not that submarine will be carrying a nuclear bomb. It is not like a Russia and US that they were always pointing missiles to each other. India, Pakistan don't do that. They don't have this kind of scenario that their submarines they were test. Okay, now we have a capability that's fine. And they did not test the nuclear bomb on that, they test a missile. I mean, only missile cannot do anything.
Right. Let's move to the last topic. There has been some social media video which I have seen, which you have seen as well, where the Indian soldiers are showing some resentment, of the treatment they are getting from high ups. In terms of the food, to the harsh weather, to everything. And I think that's probably, from my perspective, it's not just Indian soldiers, probably perhaps Pakistani soldiers on Pakistani side could probably be facing same level of issues or same level of resentment. Riazak, what do you have to say on this?
Yeah, I think the fact that, it's not one, but two now, maybe three, there are reports that there are multiple, soldiers complaining about food, about other conditions, pensions and working conditions, is an indication that there is a growing level of frustration. And the fact that they went public, clearly indicates that there's a lot of frustration. I'm sure they tried internally first, tried talking to their commanders, their generals, and they didn't get any response. The other thing that has happened in the last couple of days is that one of the soldiers actually killed four of his seniors, and I think somewhere in Kashmir. So there are problems. I think one of the things that's happening is with long deployments, which India has currently undertaken in multiple insurgencies. And when they send these people, they spend their long time in these deployments. There's a high level of stress, and there is a report that came out that some retired officers of the Indian military are coming out now and talking about the issues. One of the officers, name is Major Navdeep Singh, has written a piece that says that they have done studies within the military that shows that the life expectancy within the military is about 10 years less than that of the civilians. The military employees, serving personnel, are dying 10 years sooner than the civilian employees. So there's that discrepancy, and that is attributable to stress. There's a lot of widespread PTSD kind of a problem. And another officer by the name of General Wambadkar has written a piece, and he says that there's a lot of problems. There's serious issues between the civilians and the military and Indian military. Civil military relations are at an all-time low, and the problems and the frustrations are growing within the military. So I guess that is understandable given the long periods of deployment that they're living with.
Yeah, no, think about the scenario. India-Pakistan situation is different because think about it. You are deployed in a place where everybody walking on the street hates you, and any opportunity they will find, they are going to hurt you. So obviously your morale will go down. And the same thing happened with the US soldiers in Iraq. They're killing their own people when they're shooting, and a lot of shooting cases, right? Inside, and Vietnam, for sure. So, under that situation, I'm answering your question that you say that Pakistan has the same. I don't think Pakistan has that problem. Pakistan is a receiving end.
Right, Pakistani soldiers in Kashmir are not facing any uprising or any insurgency from Kashmiris.
From within.
Well, there has been some within, but not at that level.
It's not at that level.
There is an insurgency, but it's a guerrilla warfare type situation, but not a population rising against the army.
That's correct. And see, Indian media, I was reading last year, there is after quote unquote surgical strike, so the Hindustan Times was writing that after surgical strike, morale is very high and all these kind of things just to boost their morale up. But you know, it is just humanly not possible that you are in an environment where you know everybody hates you, you know.
It
And
causes a
then,
lot of stress.
and then you can just smile and happy and all these kind of things. So I think that is one
Okay.
reason, and
Alright.
which is
So good
acceptable
that-
reason.
closure. Riaz, thank you so much for attending. Ms. Bazam. Audience, thank you for watching Viewpoint from Overseas. We'll be hosting a new show next week. Keep watching Viewpoint from Overseas. We'll come with some new topics. Goodbye.